let's talk about another appeal that's going down. A woman who did not follow any protocols, a woman who might have actually put her entire position as the district attorney in Fulton County in Georgia, because it's being alleged that somehow she profited financially off of a relationship that she had with the guy that she put in charge of the prosecution against Donald Trump, and that would be Nathan Wade. So the allegation is Nathan Wade and FANI Willis took up with each other before she even hired the guy, which is actually, believe it or not, more problematic than taking up with him when you hired him. And the reason it's more problematic is because there's a thought process there that perhaps she already knew him, she gave him the job, he got the gig in which he would make more than $600,000, more than most money he's ever seen, unless he's doing other funny stuff on the side. $600,000 of taxpayer money. She controls some $36 million of it that she can dole out in payroll. And the question then becomes, if she gave him this job, if she gives her boyfriend a job, is she giving it to him for a reason? Very interesting what we've seen in the last couple of days. All of a sudden, Nathan Wade is on Good Morning America. And what did I say to you at the time? Why is he doing this interview? Why? Like, does he have to stay relevant? Like, what is the point in doing this interview? And by the way, why is GMA, ABC News, owned by Disney, having this interview on the air? Like, how is this important right now? Why does he want to do it? And why is he communicating this particular message? This message that he and FANI had a thing that just blossomed while he was working on the job. When, by the way, we've seen what? Records of some 20,000 texts between them and multiple trips of Nathan Wade going to her condo before he even had the gig. I'm like, whoa, that's some job interview, right? No, it wasn't a job interview. They had a thing going on. It's why he is divorced. And all of this came out because of the divorce. I guess we have the ex-wife to thank. So Nathan Wade goes on GMA, Good Morning America, ladies and gentlemen, to spin a narrative. Don't kid yourself. They're trying to do somebody a favor here. That's why he's on the air. Why bother putting him on the air? Why would you even do that? Why is he even wanting to do an interview other than to communicate a message that somehow this was just a loving relationship that happened on the fly? And then he threw this in. You may have seen it. I did play it. I'm going to play it again. Here we go, Drew.
Workplace romances are as American as apple pie. It happens to everyone. But it happened to the two of us.
Do you regret
that thing? I regret that private matter became the focal point of this very important prosecution. This is a very important case. I hate that my personal life has begun to overshadow the true issues in the case.
The relationship created a whirlwind of distraction from the indictment of former President Trump and 18 others for alleged election interference, some of whom have taken plea deals while others, including Trump, have pleaded not guilty. Attorneys for some of those defendants argue that Wade and Willis's actions disqualified them from trying the case, filing a motion against the prosecutors and revealing the romance to the public.
A Washington Post columnist wrote, "What were they thinking? How could two seasoned attorneys embroiled in the prosecution of a former president start a romance and not see this trouble coming a mile away?" And so what were you thinking in that moment?
Again, you don't plan to develop feelings. You don't plan to fall in love. You don't plan to have some relationship in the workplace. That you don't set out to do that, and those things develop organically. They develop over time. And the minute we had that sobering moment, we discontinued.
Okay. So this is very interesting. He's trying to basically present this case that it happened once he got the gig. Because you see, that's actually the timing of this, guys. It's really, really important. Because if it happened before, which is what is being alleged, I mean, given all the text messages, given all the visits to her apartment, her condo there, if that's the case, then she went out and hired her boyfriend. And she never disclosed that to anyone. And what people are going to be asking and what they need to investigate, and we got to get a good forensic accounting in there, they're going to be investigating whether she was skimming anything off the top. And I'm talking beyond the cruises and the dinners and what have you. So this just came out right here. Boom. I don't know if you can see it. This is Court of Appeals, the state of Georgia. Upon consideration of the application for the appeal, it is ordered that it is hereby granted. The appellant may file a notice of appeal within 10 days of the date of this order. The clerk of Superior Court is directed to issue a copy of this order in the record transmitted to the Court of Appeals. So boom, bingo. This is a big deal because on the appeal, what they're going to be looking at is whether FANI should have ever been the district attorney. Remember the judge said, oh, you gotta discontinue this thing immediately, like he can't be your boyfriend. And apparently they're like, oh yeah, it's already over. Well, what they're going to do now is they're going to go back and they're going to try and figure out when the relationship started. And if she hired her boyfriend, which is what is alleged and what kind of seems to be, given the text messages, given the visits, if they can prove that one out, then they got to take the next step and prove whether or not she benefited financially. In other words, was he giving her anything? Was she taking 10%? Was she getting the finder's fee for getting him the gig in the first place? That's what I want to know. And they're going to have to do a little due diligence because apparently, according to FANI's dad, she operates heavily in cash. And by the way, don't you dare ask her anything about it. Well, it's her culture. She operates in cash. Listen to him.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Counsel. When your daughter moved or left the house that she owned, did she say anything to you about having a large savings of cash?
Oh, no, See, maybe, excuse me, and Your Honor, I'm not trying to be racist, okay? But it's a black thing, okay? You know, I was trained, and most black folks, they hide cash or they keep cash. And I trained, you always keep some cash because I've been places, and just because of the color of my skin, for example, I took a fellowship at Harvard when my daughter was just if I might, Your Honor, when I was just, she was just, you know.
Okay, so you see where he's going. In other words, don't ask too many questions about this because it's our culture. This is what we do. Except that it becomes a problem because now they're trying to figure out, okay, wait, FANI, did you pay him back for the free cruise and this, that, and the other? And she's saying, yeah, I paid in cash. Well, what else went on? I mean, there's an argument to be made in fairness. Okay, maybe she can get a cruise. It's her boyfriend. Maybe she can get a dinner out. It's her boyfriend. But what else happened? Was there something bigger? Was she getting bigger chunks of cash? That's what I want to know. That's what a good forensic accountant is going to get at during this appeals process. And I have a feeling FANI Willis is going to be out of a job, as she should be, if for nothing else other than totally failing, absolutely failing her population of people that voted for her back when, remember, she told us she wasn't the type to have an affair with an employee or spend money on needless things, taxpayer dollars, right? I mean, this was her whole point of view. We have her on tape saying exactly this. Watch.
Because they deserve a DA that won't have sex with his employees. Because they deserve a DA that won't put money in their own pocket when it should go to benefit children. Because we deserve better.
Okay. They do deserve better. They don't deserve you, FANI Willis. And this is what the Court of Appeals is going to figure out. Okay, so the appeal's going to go through. That means that FANI Willis and her entire office are likely, I suspect, this is just my hunch, they're going to be out of jobs. And then the whole thing has to start all over again. Bit of a timing issue. I mean, it's like the house of cards that's just come crumbling down. So boom, stormy, total disaster. Wouldn't be surprised if that case gets thrown out of court. Boom, FANI Willis, clearly in violation of a lot of stuff. And now it's going to the Court of Appeals. I mean, not to mention, some of you guys have mentioned this in the chat. By the way, we have a live chat going on. Reminders to subscribe to the program, subscribe, leave a comment, share, like, all that good stuff. But some of you have mentioned this. The fact that she and Nathan Wade were at the White House ahead of this trial being brought. I mean, that's kind of weird, right? What were they doing at the White House? Apparently they're there for a reception with Kamala Harris. And then he billed separately the Fulton County taxpayers for his trips to the White House. Well, what was he doing at the White House? Why was that relevant? I wonder. A lot of people think this is kind of a coordinated effort. You got Fulton County going on. You got Alvin Bragg going on. You had Felicia James going on, right? Oh, $500 million we're going to hit you with. Like, that made any sense. Unbelievable stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable stuff.